Hi guys, it's Jess from Hot Knots, and today we're going to be working on the spike stitch, which is a long single crochet. I'm going to show you something that I made using the spike stitch. It's just makes your single crochets look a little bit extra poofy, and more, textured. And so I like to use this stitch a lot in my work. All right, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so now we're going to learn how to make the spike stitch. And I've got myself some yarn here. I usually work with t-shirt yarn. So go ahead and put a knot onto your hook. We're gonna make a chain of whatever, doesn't really matter. Let's just practice with 11, it's easy. So I'm gonna make my chain. All right, and then I'm going to go back across my chain, working into the back bumps. So what that means is you turn your chain like this and work into the bumps of the chain instead of into the top. And I do this with all of my work because it just makes it look symmetrical. It makes the bottom look like a chain, just like the top looks like a chain. So turn, skip the first stitch, go into the second stitch like you would usually do, and just go across making single crochet. I'm working into my bumps. There we go. And just kind of, oh well, my loop here is a little off, but that's all right. All right, so there's my first row of 10 single crochet, and I'm just gonna chain one and turn like this. And I'm gonna do another row of single crochet so you can really see the difference when we do the other stitches. So just do another row, or if you're not crocheting and you feel like watching, just watch. Have a cup of coffee. Okay. Got to my other side, now chain one and turn. Now I've got two nice little rows here. Okay, so now we're going to do the spike stitch. So I'm going to do every other one as a spike stitch. My first stitch is a regular single crochet. Now to make the spike stitch, what I would do is, instead of going into my normal space for a single crochet, I'm going to go underneath the entire stitch, underneath it, into the row below. So I'm going to go underneath the stitch here. And then I'm going to grab some yarn and pull up to the height of my row, yarn over, and go through. This is called a long single crochet as well. So then my next stitch, I'm going to do a regular single crochet. And then the next one, I'm going to do a spike. So I'm going to go underneath the entire single crochet, right underneath it, basically at the bottom of, or the top of row one, like this. Pull up my yarn to the height of my row, yarn over. Okay. And I'm going to do a single crochet in the next. And I'm going to do another spike by going into the bottom of my single crochet. Okay, so this is kind of what it looks like if you go every other one. Now I'm going to do every one and show you what that looks like. Oops. And that's what doing it in every stitch looks like. So I really think whenever you work with the spike stitch, it looks better to do every other one. In fact, whenever I made my purse here, this is made with spikes. This was worked with every other stitch. And when you go in a round, where you see a single crochet, you'll do a spike stitch. Where you see a spike stitch, you'll do a single crochet. And then at the end, the effect looks like this. Like that. So this is what it looks like. Yep, and that's how you do a spike stitch. Now let's say I'm going to turn and go on the back. You can see my long stitches here, and here you can see the difference. So I'm going to do, let's say, single crochets across, and then till I get to the front side of my work. Okay. Now you can do different types of spike stitches. You can do spike stitches that go down 2 rows below, not just 1 row, or 3 rows below, and you can have different size spikes. I'll show you, I guess, what that looks like. Okay, so let's say I want to go down 2 rows. So I'm gonna not go underneath this row, but I'm gonna go underneath this row that I did before. So I'm gonna go under this stitch, pull up a loop, do a single crochet in the next, and you can see how it's even bigger than this one. You know what this stitch looks like? It kind of looks like feathers. In fact, I made this duck rug and I wanted the stitches of the duck to kind of resemble feathers in a certain direction. And what I did with that rug is I made my stitches go at a slant. So for example, instead of putting my stitch here, I would go back 1, and then yarn over and skip this stitch and go into the next stitch, and they kind of slanted and it looked like feathers over, you know, the whole rug, which was really interesting. So that's something that you can do. And yeah, that's how you make the spike stitch. Okay, that's a wrap. Thanks so much for watching this tutorial. I hope that you've liked it. Please give it a thumbs up and follow my channel, and I'll see you guys at the next tutorial. Bye!